Hey YouTube, this is my video on how to make wine. I know a lot of people have videos on how to make wine. I don't care. I made it anyway. Um, and there's really nothing special about it. One thing I'm going to do different maybe is to measure the sugar content of the wine before I start and measure it again afterwards. To see what the alcohol content is, and I have the devices to do that there. And I also made a homemade airlock, which I'm going to use, and make another video about that in the future. So let's get going. All right, let's get started on some wine. So we got cranberry juice blend. My wife thought she got 100% pure cranberry, but it's cranberry blend, which is fine. It's cranberry juice, grape juice, and apple juice. My fermentation container, which is just a used apple juice container, and some apple juice to top everything off. The airlock I made, which I made a separate video about, I'll be posting that soon, or put a link to it or whatever. I have a specific gravity hydrometer to check the sugar content and potential alcohol level, a graduated cylinder to measure with, and this is a different hydrometer. This is for distilled spirits and things of that nature. I just have it out here for demonstration purposes, and I might not even get to it, but you cannot use this for wine and beer making. This is just for distilling. And then I have yeast here, and I have just plain old yeast. Sure, you can use crazy other kinds of yeast. There are winemaking yeast, and depending on the kind of yeast that you have, that may determine the alcohol content, because certain yeasts can only withstand a certain alcohol content before they die off. But if you have either of these yeasts in your cupboard, and some grape juice or whatever damn kind of juice you want, you can make wine, your own wine. You don't need you don't need anything here, with the exception of the juice, the container, and the sugar, maybe a little water, and the yeast. All this, optional. So let's check the sugar content of the juice first. And let's see here. Shake it up. Although solid content does affect the reading that you get. But for our concerns, it's not really a concern. Save myself from embarrassment. Now, there's a lot of wine videos out there, and you can watch a lot of people, and some people are super fanatic about cleanliness and sterilizing, and they sterilize everything right up to the time they use it. And, tell you what, keep your area clean. Use clean linen if you use it. Make sure you wash containers with soapy water and things like that, and you're not going to have issues. Really, the sanitized people are either fanatical or they are, reselling their stuff. And when you put that in there, you're supposed to give it a spin and let it sink. The spin takes out any air bubbles that might stick to the glass and affect the height of the float. According to that, 15% sugar. And 1.060 on the specific gravity. .060 on the specific gravity for just the plain juice. All right, now what we want to do is we want to kick this juice up with some extra sugar. So let's go ahead and put a cup of sugar in here. And let me just grab a measuring cup. There we go. We're going to go with, since that's 64 ounces, that's half a gallon. This is 96 ounces. I'm going to top it off with apple juice. So I'm going to go with a cup of sugar. The last wine I made was pretty sweet. It was good. Still is good. I'm just about done with it, but we'll go with a cup of sugar. Close enough. Let's go ahead and put sugar in. Now, since we have a wet funnel, that could be funny. Let's dry the funnel. Still going to make a mess, but we could freehand it. Let's see. Look at that. Freehanding a cup of sugar. There's a lot of people that make wine videos, and they're kind of cool. And by the way, if you're making wine, you better make sure that the laws of your land say you can. It's legal where I'm at, and I'm of legal drinking age. If you're not of legal drinking age and it's not legal where you're at, I wouldn't suggest doing it. If you do, that's on you. But I think making wine is cool, and it tastes really good. Makes your wife happy too, and as long as the wife's happy, everybody's happy. Y'all know that. Yeah. All right then. So we'll just leave this a wet funnel. Guess I'll use that for this too. Alrighty then. So we save that bottle just in case. And since I used the lid from this when I made the airlock, I'm going to have to use this lid. I'm going to cap it, and I'm going to shake it like hell. And what I will probably do is come back to you guys when I'm done shaking it, because you don't want to see it. And you don't want to hear me babbling while I do it. Now what we need to do is let's check that sugar content as it sits right now. See if we can try to not get the foam. Alright, we'll let that settle out. So the juice only specific gravity was 1.060, which is 060 is a potential of 8% alcohol, and it's 15% sugar. And so that was 8% alcohol and 15% sugar. All right. Now, I'm going to wait for those bubbles to settle out. And no, let's just try it now and see what we get. It'll be hard to read because of the bubbles, but we'll get a rough idea of how much we've increased the sugar content. Now the specific gravity is 1.100. 0.100, and that's 1 cup of sugar to 64 ounces of juice. Now we're showing a sugar content of about 25%. And potential alcohol of 12%. Well, I think the yeast can go a little above 12%, and that would leave me with a dry wine, I think. So I think what I want to do is kick the sugar up just a little bit by about let's see, I rose it 10% with a cup for 64 ounces. And I want to take it to 30. So a half a cup. Let's go just shy of a half cup. Let's go like 3/4 of a cup. Not even. Did I say 3/4 cup shy of a half cup? Yeah, no. Between a quarter and a half. But I'm going to add the apple juice too, so we'll go with a straight half cup. The apple juice will probably dilute it some because there's not as much sugar in that. Yeah, there's lumps in my sugar, I know. I don't really care either. Neither does my wine. Alrighty then. Again, shake, and I will get back to you then. Alright then, so we've given it a good shake, and I just noticed I forgot to put in juice from the sampler. So let's do that. Give it a jiggle, mix that up. Yeah, we're going to have to let that sit for a little bit. before we can read that. So that was a cup of sugar to 64 ounces. Now we'll let that settle out, and I'll probably end up coming back to you with that because you're just not going to want to see it. So as you can see, it's going to take a little while for those bubbles to dissipate. I even re-poured it and poured it back, so I will continue this operation as soon as those bubbles have subsided, and we'll take a measurement and continue on. Alrighty then, so we're back, and you may be able to tell, but I had to do some voiceover work here because the Bluetooth microphone that I was using just completely screwed up and was giving all kinds of loud feedback. Anyhow, I let all the bubbles settle there, and I was going to, I did measure the specific gravity to see what the sugar content was. And as I watch this video, you know, later on, it doesn't, all this crap I'm doing here with sugar content, it doesn't really matter unless you want to know what proof it is when it's all said and done. I think this specific gravity finally was 1.600, and yeah. And, you know, the funny part is, if you're watching this video, just know that that bottle of wine that you see me racking up right now, or putting up now, is actually already gone. It's pretty good stuff, so I drank it. And I think, again here, I'm just writing down inconsequential, meaningless numbers if you just want to drink some homemade wine. And then what I do is, since I have the sugar content proper, I'm going to eventually put the all the juice back in the bottle from the graduated cylinder there, and I'm also going to pitch the yeast. Now I wanted to make a specific issue about this. This yeast is labeled for pizza. It's actually pizza yeast, and I'm just taking the tiniest little amount there and popping it in there. That's all you need, and that was maybe not even a quarter of the package. And then I'm putting the graduated cylinder juice back in there. I was testing the sugar with, and then I'm probably going to shake it up. Just guessing. Oh, that's right. Top it off with apple juice just to add a little more volume to it and to free up an extra container for subsequent wine making experiences, which I've already done and not filmed. I did a wine racking video, and that's another batch that I made. And to be honest with you, so far the best batch that I've had has been following doing it cheap's method, and that's using the Welch's grape juice concentrate, sugar, and water. And I'm going to make another batch of that again. It was stronger, a little fruitier, and it was just altogether better. Now, some of these other fruit juices, you know, make tasty wines, but they don't exactly, I don't know, they're just not as high of an alcohol content, and I just like them a lot better. I'm talking about how you can just leave the cap loose here when you're going to make this, because it must be ventilated. It's going to produce CO2 gas. It's a byproduct of the yeast munching on the sugar, and you can't just seal that up. If you seal that up and toss that in a closet,
it's going to explode and you're going to have sticky liquid all over the inside of your closet, and it won't be fun. Now, I made a video where I made a homemade airlock, and you can see that right there, picking up the homemade airlock. Not a necessary thing. You can buy them if you want. You can buy them from brew supply places, buy them from Amazon, buy them from all over. I'm not your Google. But you can also make one. There's another couple videos on how to make them on there. The one I made for this wine here is okay, but it's got such a configuration that it if there's no pressure in the wine vessel, it will suck water down in, it'll siphon down through. So I'm going to adjust this design and make a new video, and I'll update the old video on it. So I think I'm just cutting the bottom of the plastic off here and getting this airlock adjusted. But that's pretty much all there is for this video anyway. I'm just putting this wine up. I'm yapping on about the airlock and how you can use the airlock, but you don't need the airlock, and yeah, just filling time. But the wine was really good. This was a cranberry juice blend, as I said at the beginning. And well, thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it.